Do you have a Kennedy half-dollar? Don't spend it until you watch this. We're uncovering the telltale signs and unique characteristics of the rarest Kennedy half-dollars that collectors are desperately searching for. Stick around to learn how to identify these hidden gems and potentially uncover a fortune in your own collection. Number 1. Have you ever held a coin that quietly hides a piece of American history in your hands? Imagine this: a shining half-dollar from 1976, stamped with the powerful D mint mark of Denver, created to honor the Bicentennial of the United States. But what if I told you that among the millions minted, a few rare pieces exist that could be worth a small fortune today? This is not just any half-dollar. This is the ultra-rare and most valuable 1976 Kennedy half-dollar with the D mint mark. When Americans celebrated 200 years of independence in 1976, the U.S. Mint produced one of the most symbolic coins ever made, the Kennedy Bicentennial half-dollar. It was not only a tribute to President John F. Kennedy but also a patriotic masterpiece marking the nation's two-century journey of freedom. The obverse features the iconic portrait of President Kennedy, sculpted by Gilroy Roberts, while the reverse displays Independence Hall in Philadelphia, designed by Seth G. Huntington, symbolizing the birth of the nation itself. The coin proudly carries the dual date 1776 to 1976, a design used only once in the history of the Kennedy half-dollar series. Every collector knows this was a unique year when both the mint and the nation celebrated together, producing coins that became instant keepsakes of American pride. But among these millions, only a handful with special characteristics, rare strikes, or minting errors stand out, and these are the ones serious collectors are hunting for today. The D mint mark on this coin identifies it as having been struck at the Denver Mint. Denver produced over 287 million of these coins, but do not be fooled by that number. Many of them were made for circulation, which means most have been worn down, damaged, or lost over time. What remains in pristine condition, especially those struck in special mint sets or with proof-like qualities, have become the true treasures of American numismatics. Some of the most desirable Bicentennial Kennedy half-dollars include rare minting varieties, such as double die obverse, weak strikes, or even planchet errors where the coin was accidentally struck on the wrong metal. One particularly famous variety includes the silver-clad issues, coins made of 40% silver, often found only in special collector sets. These silver bicentennial halves, especially those with the D mint mark, are far more valuable than regular copper-nickel-clad circulation strikes. Collectors also look for sharply struck details on Kennedy's hair, smooth luster across the fields, and clean mirror-like surfaces that indicate proof or high-grade business strikes. Any example graded mint state 67 or higher by professional services such as PCGS or NGC instantly becomes a top-tier collectible. And when an error is present, like a missing mint mark, doubling in the lettering, or an off-center strike, values can skyrocket dramatically. Over the decades, the 1976 D Kennedy half-dollar has gained legendary status among collectors who appreciate its historical significance and unique design. It captures not only the spirit of President Kennedy's legacy but also the patriotic energy of America's 200th birthday celebration. Holding one of these coins feels like holding a living piece of history, a metallic time capsule linking the past and present of the United States of America. Now, let us talk about what makes collectors' hearts race: the prices. Verified auction records show that an ultra-high-grade 1976 D Kennedy half-dollar, with silver composition and graded mint state 67, has sold for over $4,600. Meanwhile, rare error varieties and proof-like specimens have reached extraordinary figures, with some bringing more than $10,000 in private and certified numismatic sales. Imagine that, a half-dollar that could be worth as much as $10,000 today. So, if you ever come across a 1976 Kennedy half-dollar with a D mint mark, especially one in brilliant uncirculated or silver-clad condition, hold on to it carefully. It could be one of the most valuable treasures hiding in your change jar or coin collection right now. Number 2. Have you ever held a coin and wondered if it could secretly be worth thousands of dollars? Imagine discovering a $50 dated 1971, stamped with a D mint mark, a coin that could be hiding a fortune right in your hands. Could this ordinary piece from the Denver Mint be one of the ultra-rare survivors collectors dream about? The 1971 Kennedy $50 carries more than just metal. It carries history. Struck in a period when circulating halves had long abandoned silver, this coin was part of a new era of modern U.S. coinage. Its obverse features the striking profile of President John F. Kennedy, sculpted by Gilroy Roberts, while its reverse displays the iconic presidential eagle shield, symbolizing strength and legacy. At first glance, millions were minted in Denver, over 300 million coins, yet very few retained the sharpness, luster, and perfection demanded by collectors. Most were used in everyday commerce, worn, scratched, or lost, leaving only a small fraction worthy of the term treasure. Collectors and numismatists are on the lookout for tiny details that can transform a simple coin into a legend. Full hairlines on Kennedy's portrait, flawless fields with no scratches, perfect centering, and a sharply struck D mint mark all add value. Rare errors, including doubled dies, off-center strikes, or the most coveted, silver planchet mix-ups, instantly elevate a coin into the realm of the extraordinary. Some coins tell an even more dramatic story, like the 1971 D struck on a 40% silver planchet. These mistakes escaped the mint unnoticed and became the holy grail for collectors. Proof-like strikes, high mint state grades, and these unusual planchet errors make the coin almost magical, a blend of history, rarity, and mystery. As you imagine this coin in your own collection, think about what collectors have paid when they finally surfaced. The suspense builds as we reveal the truth about the 1971 D Kennedy $50's most incredible sales. Verified auctions show that a 1971 D Kennedy $50 struck on a 40% silver planchet, graded MS61, sold for an astonishing $13,000. Standard high-grade mint state examples of this coin have reached up to $3,150, with proof-like and exceptional specimens selling even higher. These numbers are not rumors. They are verified auction records, cementing this coin as a must-have for serious collectors. If you ever encounter a 1971 D Kennedy $50 in superb condition, particularly with a silver planchet or high-grade mint state qualities, hold it carefully. This coin represents a rare connection to American history and the legacy of President Kennedy, combined with the thrill of potentially extraordinary value. Number 3. Have you ever held a $50 in your hand and wondered if it might be hiding a secret worth thousands of dollars? Imagine spotting the date, 1972, and a small D mint mark beneath President Kennedy's bust. You might be holding a coin that serious collectors dream about. This is not just any $50. This is the ultra-rare 1972 D Kennedy $50 struck at the Denver Mint. In 1972, the United States Mint struck millions of Kennedy $50, yet millions of ordinary ones do not excite the collector world. The ones that stand out are those with exceptional strike quality, flawless luster, rare varieties, or error features. The 1972 D began a new era, clad composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel, an alloy change that followed the end of silver content circulation halves. The mintage for the Denver Mint that year was approximately 141,890,000 coins. The obverse of the coin features the iconic profile of President John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, and the reverse shows the presidential eagle shield motif by Frank Gasparo. Although the design may appear familiar, the condition, variety, and mint mark make all the difference when it comes to value. Because so many were produced and placed into circulation, the typical 1972 D Kennedy $50 in circulated condition is still worth basically face value, 50 cents, unless it retains exceptional characteristics. But for the astute collector, here are the key features to watch for: sharp full hairlines on Kennedy's portrait, minimal bag marks, bright original surfaces, perfect centering of the design and mint mark, and no scratches or harsh contact marks. In addition, rarer varieties include the famous No FG variant, where the designer's initials FG are missing on the reverse, and error types such as doubled dies, off-center strikes or wrong planchets. The no FG variety of the 1972D is one of the most intriguing. On the reverse between the eagle's left leg, viewer's right, and tail feathers, the initials, FG, normally appear for designer Frank Gasparo. On the no FG coins these are absent, the dies having been overpolished or worked, creating a rare variety. These coins are scarce and demand strong premium from variety specialists. Now here comes the most exciting part. What have collectors actually paid for these coins at auction? The highest verified auction record for the standard 1972D regular strike is $7,200 for a specimen graded MS62, sold August 18, 2024. For the rare 1972D no FG variety, a certified MS63 example sold for $2,485 in September 2016. These types of results show that although the mintage was large, top condition and rare varieties can command serious money. If you come across a 1972D Kennedy $50, especially one with the no FG designation or exhibiting exceptionally sharp strike and flawless surfaces, keep it safe, consider professional grading, and you might be looking at a piece of numismatic treasure rather than just pocket change. Number 4. Imagine holding a coin that quietly connects one of the greatest presidents in American history with the very founding of a great state. A coin so steeped in story and legacy that each glance at its surface feels like passing through a time gate into the early 20th century. Welcome to this journey as we uncover the ultra-rare and most valuable 1918 Illinois Centennial $50, no mint mark, from the United States of America. Prepare yourself for collector-level history, thrilling rarity, and expert insight. In 1918, the state of Illinois celebrated its 100th anniversary of admission into the Union, and the U.S. Congress authorized the striking of a commemorative $50 to mark the occasion. That coin is the 1918 Illinois Centennial $50, minted at the Philadelphia Mint without a mint mark, as was standard for Philadelphia strikes at the time. The total authorized mintage was 100,058 coins, 100,000 for public distribution plus 58 for the USA Commission. Because of that fixed number, and the fact that all pieces were struck at Philadelphia and none were returned to the mint for melting, the survival of high-grade examples is finite, and that drives collector demand. The obverse of this coin carries the bust of President Abraham Lincoln, depicted in a thoughtful pose, head slightly tilted downward, a design by Chief Engraver George T. Morgan, modeled after a statue by sculptor Andrew O'Connor. The inscription around the obverse reads, "Centennial of the State of Illinois," above Lincoln's portrait, with "Liberty" to the right. "In God we trust," behind the bust, and the date, 1918, at the exurg. On the reverse you will see an eagle adapted from the Great Seal of Illinois, the eagle holding a shield in one talon and a rock in the other, with a rising sun behind, and the ribbon in its beak inscribed, "State Sovereignty National Union." The outer legend reads, "United States of America $50. These design elements link Lincoln, an adopted Illinoisan, with Illinois' state identity and the national heritage of the United States, a powerful symbolism for collectors. From a specification standpoint, this coin is comprised of 90% silver and 10% copper, weighs approximately 12.5 grams, and has a diameter of about 30.6 millimeters, with a reeded edge. Because it was struck as a business-type commemorative, not a proof, in August 1918 at Philadelphia, the finish is standard for circulation-quality commemorative issues of the era rather than proof-level mirror fields. Collectors must carefully inspect for quality of strike, surface preservation, toning, and originality of devices, all of which dramatically affect value. Now let us consider rarity and collector insights. Although the total mintage is known, 100,000 plus DSA strikes, the number of high-grade specimens remains limited. That limits supply, while demand remains steady because of the historical appeal of Lincoln plus the Illinois Centennial theme. In addition, genuine errors or unusual die varieties are extremely scarce for this issue, because the program was relatively straightforward, with no mint mark and no major distribution scandal. That means condition and eye appeal matter more than rare varieties. For serious collectors, this coin is often a key piece in a U.S. classic commemorative half-dollar set, and high-grade survivors, MS-67, MS-68, command substantial interest. Now let us speak about market performance and recent auction results. This is where excitement comes alive. According to expert data from a collector guide, the top known specimens of the 1918 Illinois Centennial half-dollar achieved the following. One example graded NGC MS-68 sold at auction for approximately $17,400. Another example graded PCGS MS-67 plus CAC sold for around $14,000. And earlier an NGC MS-68 coin sold for about $11,400. These verified highest real auction prices show that although the coin is not in the ultra-million-dollar league, it is a serious investment piece for advanced collectors. Keep in mind that lower-graded coins, e.g., MS-65 or MS-66, trade for much less, in the few hundreds to low thousands, but the ultra-high-grade survivors truly drive the premium. Finally, if you are a U.S. collector seeking to elevate your holdings, the 1918 Illinois Centennial half-dollar offers both historical depth and collectible scarcity, a true conversation piece that links Lincoln, Illinois statehood, and American coinage heritage. If you own one or are considering purchasing one, insist on certification by a major grading service, examine strike sharpness, surface preservation, toning appeal, and verify provenance where possible.